Hey everyone, welcome to another segment of Vital Statistics. I'm Shemetris Vital, and yes, you've guessed it, there is no time like the present time. Currently, I'm on location at a leadership conference, and I know that it has been a while since I have posted a video. And during my time away, of course, God is constantly speaking to me, but I want you to know that I'm constantly thinking about you because I don't ever want to be uploading a video to just upload a video. I want there to be some substance. I want there to be some purpose, even in these short videos, because every time that I go through something, I'm thinking about you and I'm thinking about how can I make this a nugget that someone else can take and learn from it and use it as a resource, because we're all in different places and we're in different places for a reason. Well, at this leadership conference, everything is done with the spirit of excellence. And of course, you can't have a massive group of people being ministered to and taught without a great group of volunteers. Well, in that, there were some things that I saw, and not necessarily am I frustrated. It's just that I know that I can't complain about it without having a solution. And I'm not complaining about it by any means. But, sometimes you can see how things can be done differently. But until then, I just want to take what I have seen and I just want to drop that in your spirit, because I don't know what God may be calling you to do. And as He begins to open up the doors for you in leadership and things that you're doing, I want to be able to pass on my knowledge, because that's how I have gotten more mature, is because I took what someone else told me or what they spoke about, and it's helped me become a better me. Well, I'm sure many of you guys are very, very familiar with Southwest Airlines, right? I have flown Southwest Airlines for many, many years. And one of the things that I valued about Southwest, it was not necessarily that they did the cattle call and you didn't have a specific seat that you were sitting in, but it was just that, it was done in the spirit of excellence. When you talk to a Southwest employee, 9 times out of 10, you find some that have been around 10, 15, 20 years, whatever the deal may be. And I think that is very, very interesting, because you don't find a lot of businesses where the people have been around for a long time, but there's always a reason why they've been around. But nonetheless, I just think Southwest, I like the way that they do things, but I want to use the example of their cattle call. I'm sure you're real familiar if you've ever flown Southwest in the past and then said, I'm never flying it again. Well, they have this thing called the cattle call, and it's gotten much better now, but it used to be that you would check in early online and you'd either be in boarding group A, B, or C. And they would call you by that. Well, I guess in the last 3-4 years, maybe they've gotten really strict, and they've gotten a little more organized and have some really good order into this massive chaos type thing. And so now what they've done is they have boarding groups. So depending on when you sign in, you're in boarding group A, but then you have to line up according to boarding group A 1 through 30, or boarding group B 30 through 60. But then they have these little sections, so then it counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. And then the little screen will change and it'll go to B, and then it'll be 1 through 5, 6 through 10, and then 10 through 15, and so forth. And I think that is really, really interesting, because it has brought about a lot more organization, because now customers can sit and wait until their actual boarding group is up, and then they can go and stand within that 5 numbers to prepare to board the plane. Well, while I'm out here at this conference, they have a lot of different levels of people who donate into the ministry and different things like that. Well, what was interesting is when they had us line up, as well as organized as everything is, there was no organization on how to enter the conference. Like, I never thought, I'm still young, and I know that a lot of you guys that are probably watching, you're much younger than I am. And so I really want you to pay attention to this, because seeing seasoned adults, is what I call them, seasoned when they're older than me, running and just like this massive herd, and no respect of person or whatever, and people are telling you, hey, please, no running, let's show your ID. People just overlooked the people who were in charge, and I saw people just kind of being ran over. I mean, it's just kind of crazy when you see people just bombarding and not paying attention. Well, I want to speak on that, because it made me think about the greatest group of people that were delivered from something. Now, obviously, we were going into something, but either way, our God is a God of excellence, and He's our God of order. And so, and the reason why I use Southwest is because they started off with one thing, and then now they have a better order of how they transition people onto the plane, because in order for something to take off, there has to be order. And so it made me think about Moses and the Israelites being, or the children of Israel, I'm sorry, being delivered. And when they went, and Moses was trying to get them free by asking Pharaoh to set the people free, and he went to them 10 times. And of course, you know the story, the plagues and all that kind of stuff. Well, I was just thinking, because obviously the children of Israel eventually ended up wandering the promised land for 40 years. Well, before they came out of Israel, there had to be some order. They didn't just massively rush out of this city. They had to walk out of the city. You know, they weren't running all over each other and so forth. And then I thought about how they eventually transitioned and they got to the Red Sea. Well, they first had to listen for the instructions of Moses when he parted the Red Sea, and God, you know, allowed him to part it. But they walked across, you know, and just thinking about a massive group of people all trying to get to the same place, but you're not going to get anywhere any faster running over someone else and disrespecting the authority. And so I'm just saying that to say, you know, be cautious. Like, you see this exit sign behind me. An exit sign usually in most places is an entrance sign as well. So even though the children of Israel, they exited Israel, they were entering somewhere else. I may exit this room and I'm going to enter somewhere else, but you have to exit and enter in a spirit of excellence and order. I also believe that you have to be cautious of who the leaders are. Listen, don't rush. And especially like to my young people, like when you're at a venue and you're waiting in line, stand in line and wait. You're going to get in. Don't run over anyone. And I'm not, you know, blaming you or anything like that, but I just want you to be cautious of the way that you move, because being at this conference is teaching me, and just watching people, it doesn't matter the age. You know, oftentimes we talk about our young people, but I want to make a call to even those seasoned people that our young people are watching. I'm younger than a lot of the people that I saw running people over. And I think we have to be cautious that we are an example and somebody is watching us, but there is no hurry. All of the children of Israel, that their appointed time, they all got out. They all made it over the Red Sea. It didn't matter who was in the front of the line. It didn't matter, because God already knew who was going to make it to the promised land. It took them 40 years, but it was a reason and there was a purpose for that 40 years. I just want to encourage you to follow directions, work and do things in order, and do them with a spirit of excellence. If God calls you to do a multifaceted venue and you are working with thousands or hundreds of thousands of people and maybe even millions, make sure that you do it in the spirit of excellence. Get the right people in place who are going to be representing you as leaders, that may be volunteers, but so that things are done properly and in order, because people of God should not be bombarding each other, running on top of each other. We're all going to get there. When God calls us home, you're not going to be able to tumble over anyone. Hopefully you know inside that you've accepted him as your personal Lord and Savior, because he's just going to call us all home. So I just want you to be encouraged. I hope that it didn't sound like that I was fussing or anything like that, but I just wanted to talk about order. So I hope that you got something out of this. Continue to be who you are, and remember that the difference is in the change that you choose to make. Be the difference, make the difference, because the difference is in the change you choose to make. I'm a person of order because my God is a God of order, and I hope that anything that you do from this point on, just stop, wait, be patient, because we're all going to make it. Be encouraged, and I'll talk to you soon. This is another segment of Vital Statistics. Take care.